What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I'm JJ Wang. He's the bearded one, DJ Dub. With our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Well, the draft is in the books, and now the fun begins.
Yeah, I didn't do a very good job. Good thing I'm not a GM, huh?
Well, see, I came into that. We came in saying, "Hey, we can talk more fantasy." You ask us to throw in those other guys that support and back up the fantasy. That's just beyond our little simple minds. We have day jobs.
Just can't dedicate my full life to it, even though I try.
Now, if anybody wants to sponsor the podcast for millions of dollars, we will dedicate our day jobs, and we will get every pick in the NFL draft right next year.
I'm not making that bet.
For $1 million, I'd do it.
It's
out there.
I mean, $1 million ain't going to buy you every right pick in the draft, I'm pretty sure.
It'll get us closer. We can research a little better.
I don't know. I mean, what's the homeboy from Mel Kiper? He does this 24/7, and he never gets. He might get like one or two right.
Yeah, I got the first two right.
But hey, man, nobody knows. I mean, it's just all speculation, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. It was I'd say probably the two biggest things before we get in. We're gonna do a Dynasty rookie mock draft here today. But the two biggest things were Hollywood Brown heading to the Cardinals. Well, I'll say it, but it wasn't that big. But and AJ Brown heading to the Eagles. What are your thoughts on those two trades that went down?
I mean, the AJ Brown was a big one. I mean, he's obviously a top elite player. But again, there's a reason Tennessee didn't want to pay him. I guess there's got to be. I mean, when he plays, he's fantastic. But that's the thing. When he plays, he only plays in half the games.
Yeah, he plays
so hopefully that changes. If you're going to give a guy $25 million, you want to know that they're going to play every year. And as for Hollywood Brown, I mean, he's okay. I mean, I thought they gave up a lot for him, but they know more than I do, evidently. Man, plus him and Kyler are best friends. So go get your quarterback that you're having a little rift with at the moment. Go get him his best friend. And did you know Hollywood Brown is also Lamar Jackson's best friend? Did you hear that?
I did not. I heard Lamar was in the dark about it.
Yeah, so they traded away Lamar's best friend for Kyler's best friend.
So does that elevate Andrews or Bateman more?
I like Bateman a little better.
Because Andrews is already so elevated, it couldn't elevate him more.
I mean, Andrews, you said Andrews, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see Andrews can really. I mean, I guess you could throw it to him more, I would guess. I mean, I feel like they throw it to him all the time now. I mean, is Andrews going to get every target? I mean, like somebody on the wide receiver. I mean, Bateman would have to be that next guy up. I mean, a lot of people were howling him coming into the season.
They have to be. Lamar's going to run a lot this year. He's got about 3,000 yards rushing because he's got no one to throw to. Yep. I mean, Hollywood's deceptively had 1,000 yards last year, 1,008 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he had like 90. It was like 90 catches for 1,000 yards, right?
Yeah.
I feel like 90 catches. How many touchdowns did he have? He had like
six
and like 3 drops.
All in one game. All those drops in one game. That cost me a week win that year. That was nasty.
But I feel like if you had 90 catches, maybe get more yardage out of that. You wouldn't want more than 10 yards a catch.
You realize he was more productive than AJ Brown. AJ Brown had 63 for 869 and 5 touchdowns.
Oh, absolutely. I guarantee. And AJ Brown played half the games probably.
I'll pull that up here.
That's the thing. AJ Brown is great when he plays, but how often does he play? I feel like every year he's been in the league, he's only played.
It's more than you think. He played 13 games last year.
Right. How much was it this year? Because I guess he was on pace for 16.
Well, this year's 0. They haven't started yet.
Oh, I mean, last year.
13 last year, 14 the year before, and 16. His problem is
also,
every now and then he'll disappear. Like he'll have a game,
too.
But it's a running team. So will it change with I don't know, with a team that's willing to pass a little more? What could have been?
I mean, he'll go, but And he's also going to the Eagles, who don't really throw a lot. None of their receivers have really
Been any good? They're
been
terrible
any.
receivers though. That's why. Maybe throwing in a big receiver.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah, I
hey,
mean,
I'll root for it because I'm sure at some point I'll have somebody. I'll have one of them on their team. So I mean, like I said, when he plays, it works out.
yeah. So I mean, he's either he's almost he would be the Tyler Lockett of Philadelphia.
Hopefully, it helps um, Devonta Smith out. Really need him to take that next step.
Yeah, I mean having another guy there. I mean, Devonta Smith, what the U of the Eagles? He's about your size, maybe
Yeah,
a little
not my
skinnier,
size. He's a little taller. He got like 4 inches on me.
maybe even skinnier. But yeah, it's put when you always having two guys there. I mean, that'll take some pressure off, make him more probably put him into probably more of a possession receiver, right?
I would think, but they still got Goddard too. So I mean, so they'll have three legitimate weapons.
So what we're saying here is, it seems like there's a lot of quarterbacks this year being put in that you're going to show out or you're going to shut up because the quarterback class is really good next year. We're looking at Philadelphia, we're looking at New York, we're looking at Miami, are three like spots where the quarterbacks have been given a lot of stuff to play with. And I mean, the Giants short up the line, got some receivers and whatnot, but they to play with that they have to show up or next year with that quarterback class coming in, they might be gone.
Yeah, because I mean that quarterback, like, we all know, like I guess like the top quarterbacks coming out next year, the ones from Ohio State and Alabama, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we all know how much we love quarterbacks out of Ohio State and Alabama.
But at least
but
gives her somewhere to go.
but yeah, I mean next year there's a lot of quarterbacks that teams have skipped on quarterbacks, giving their guys one more year to see what they can get.
Boy,
Excuse me.
boy, did they skip on quarterbacks.
Oh man.
We'll hit that
Yeah.
up in a
So
moment here.
yeah, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a lot to prove this year.
Okay, well
You
let's
can't blame it
let's
on the team either, because I mean the team's doing everything they can.
yeah
The
with those
weapons
three
around.
guys, it's going to come down to with what they've been given. They should each take a step up this year. I mean, the Giants even went so far as to not take Daniel Jones' fifth year option. Like that shows they don't want him because that's a bargain for a quarterback to take a fifth year. That's why you draft a quarterback in the first round. That's why I was shocked that none of these guys were snagged there at the end. I guess that was my 100% bet why the Lions were going to take someone there was that fifth year option,
I
and
mean,
no one
4
did.
years is really all you need. If your quarterback hasn't done anything in 4 years, if you're not happy with him in year four, why would you even go through the
But
pain
it's
of
not about the happy. If you
year
are
five?
happy with him, you get a cheap fifth year.
Well,
If you as opposed to a fifth year to lose.
if you're happy with, I'm saying after 4 years, if you're happy with him, yeah, you get that fifth year option. But after 4 years, if you're not happy, I mean, like, man,
Okay.
I can pick up this option and have a quarterback and start him again. I know he's okay, but why? Why? If I'm not happy with him, that I'm pretty sure that next year isn't going to change my mind. 4 years is plenty of time to at least show something. Daniel Jones really hasn't shown pretty much anything.
Well, he showed that he could run really fast and fall over the 2 yard line.
I mean, he ran really fast. I'll give you that. He certainly can run fast, just not for long periods of time.
What's worse, the butt fumble or Daniel Jones tripping on the 2 yard line or tripping there towards the end zone?
I, I mean, yeah, the butt fumble was bad, but I think tripping over, I think tripping in the middle of the field when you're just running, it's pretty bad. But I got chugging along, man.
It's crazy stuff. So, okay, what we're going to do today is just we're going to go through a handful of picks, and we're just going to do a rookie superflex mock draft, point 0.5 PPR. We're just going to go back and forth. We're going to see if we can snake each other on who we pick up here. We don't even know who each other's going to pick. We're just going to mess with each other for a little bit here and see what we end up with as far as players we think are going to be good. JJ Wang, do you want to start with the easy one, or do you want me to go first? We're not even that far planned ahead. It's been a rough week for us.
No, you can go first. I'll let you have first.
Well, the first one makes me want to puke a little bit. I can't take a. Okay, here we go. With the first pick, I think it's pretty consensus, right? It's it it even in a super flex, no one's got the other guys any higher. In my opinion, I still think Brees Hall is going to be part of a good Thunder and Lightning tandem there. It kills Michael Carter, which breaks my heart, breaks a couple of our friends' hearts, but I think Brees Hall is the pounder there in New York. The biggest beneficiary of the Brees Hall drafting is going to be Mr. Zach Wilson, and he's going to have running backs now that can bail him out, so he's going to look a little better this year. So Brees Hall, 1.1.
I wasn't super excited with it. I didn't think they would go running back, but I mean, like I
I
said,
didn't
he's a
either.
good running back. They don't think Michael Carter can probably carry the load. I mean, like, and they're just following in the trend of where everyone is going. Dual running backs. I mean, Brees Hall can do it all. I mean, Michael Carter can do it all. This is pretty much how North Carolina, when Michael Carter was in North Carolina, he had Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, and it was successful there. It got them both drafted into the NFL.
Yeah.
So I mean, this system works. It's just for fantasy, we miss out on those high end running back. But like, I'm not really too excited. I'm not really excited about any of these picks. I mean, I haven't really had time to sit down and think, just like my initial thought. But I'm gonna I'm gonna go Kenny Pickett as my number two. I mean, I would have went with him at number one because he's going to start real soon, and he's a quarterback. And he went to a good situation. I mean, Pittsburgh's a good team, a good organization. People usually succeed in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
So, and they know this guy. I mean, evidently Pittsburgh and the college and the professional team share the training facility, so they see this guy like every day. If they don't, I mean, it's. And I think they said, I did hear somewhere that they were sad they had to make up for passing on Dan Marino because Dan Marino was in their backyard. They
Yeah.
passed on Dan Marino. We see how that turned out. So like, well, we don't want to make that same mistake. So let's go ahead and grab it. So I'm going to take Kenny Pickett.
I thought he might slip a little bit here. As I was thinking, like, I figured he'd be 4 or 5, and a lot of mocks have him way down. But I agree with you. Like, quarterback is king in superflex. I am glad. Like, in one of our leagues, I saw you put a poop emoji when I had the 1.2 and I traded for the 1.8 in a 2023 first rounder. Because for me, pretty much from this point until 1.10, you could throw out any of these guys and you could see what sticks.
Yes. Well, the problem is this draft has been crapped on for so long. It's the draft. The draft picks just really aren't as valuable. They're as seen as valuable. So if you're going to trade out of this draft for the 2023, you had to give up a lot or get a lot because it's
I think
the
it's
way the draft is seen. And if somebody is coming, if somebody is coming after your 2023 picks and giving up their 2022 picks, something's gotta tell you that they don't want to be here. So, and they want to be there. So make them pay for wanting to be there and not here. I mean, that's how I see it. If
Oh,
somebody's
so
coming at
you
you
weren't
with,
poo-pooing me then. You,
I pooed the pick,
the other one.
the trade before that too. I was just pooing all the trades that
Oh,
come down
okay.
through there. It was nothing against. I mean, it was nothing against you. I mean,
Yeah, I was like, man, I got pooed.
that's just my
You're just
philosophy
you
as
have
far
trade
as
envy. That's all.
trading goes.
Trade envy. Always trade envy. So I'm gonna
And
I'm
that
gonna
too.
I'm gonna go with my number one receiver pre-draft actually, and he is the number 2 receiver on his team now behind Kyle Pitts. That's going to be Drake London, big guy like the mentored by one of my favorite players. I'm Amon Ra guy, but I think he's stepping into a good situation. He's gonna almost be the de facto number one, unless you think of like Olamide Zacchaeus or something like that's gonna step in there. I mean, Mariota's got to throw to someone. I don't see him being Jamar Chase, but I mean, dude could still have a pretty solid year because they're going to focus on Kyle Pitts, who will probably, with nobody else there, he might struggle a little bit this year. So throw to Drake London.
Yeah, third Drake London. I mean, that obviously works. It works at USC, but the problem with throwing Drake to Drake London is the person throwing to Drake London. It's not. Yeah, just throw to Drake London. He's great, but has Mariota ever supported anybody like that? I mean, I'm not saying that his weapons have always been any good, but even when he was at at his prime in Tennessee when he was starting, I don't think he was really that great to begin with. And there's a reason he's not a starter. But I mean, like I said, I like Drake London. I mean, that's same thing I say. Mariota, what are you doing? Just throw Drake London. Yeah. But I'm also saying, Mariota, what are you doing? Just throw it to Kyle Pitts. So
there's 3 guys on Kyle Pitts. I gotta throw Drake London, is what he said to you.
Oh, that's fine too. I mean, but that's how can Mariota support 2 high end fantasy options? That's the question.
In today's NFL, possibly. Maybe. I mean, Ryan Tannehill was throwing,
and they're going to try to run the
Miami.
Ball.
So
they did pick up that running back, I believe, from BYU.
That bowling ball, yeah.
Yeah, so I think they might run. I think they might run it more than they're going to pass. Yeah, with only 2 options. I mean, 2 receiving options.
I mean, if he only throws for 2,000 yards this year and he only throws to 2 receivers, that's 1,000-yard receiver.
Hey, I'm down. I think I got Cordero Patterson too.
Math doesn't add up, but
he's going to get a bulk of yards.
Yeah.
So it's on me. You took Drake London. I'm going to take the guy that replaced AJ Brown, right? Treylon Burks.
Ooh.
Because I mean, speaking of limited throwing options, I mean, AJ Brown when he played was an elite option. Now they're also going to have Robert Woods. I mean, I think, and Robert Woods ain't going to play forever. He's getting older. Treylon Burks coming into this season was great. We'll see how it goes. I think he was put in a good option.
Nice.
This is all probably going to change.
Yeah.
When I think about it, so I just like Treylon Burks.
my next pick, if I was at 5, I would have to really look at where my team was and what I needed. If I'm at 5, I might be in a rebuild or close to being able to compete. If I'm in a total rebuild, I'm looking probably more, I might look receiver, but if I'm looking at like borderline maybe competing for a playoff spot, then I'm going to take this guy, Kenneth Walker III for the Seattle Seahawks. They're going to run the ball, and after the Seahawks run the ball, they're going to run the ball. And then they're going to say Drew Lock's not throwing the ball, so they're going to run the ball some more. So even if Chris Carson comes back healthy, even if they paid Rashad Penny a little bit of money to stay back, Kenneth Walker is the best running back they got. He's young. He comes out of a good Michigan State system, and he's in Seattle where they like to run the ball. So I take Kenneth Walker at 5. I would think twice and decide if I was in super rebuild whether I'm going to go for another receiver or not, but that would be my pick right there.
I like that. I mean, that's like a perfect Seattle pick. I mean, right? Yeah. Hey, we got 2 running backs. Let's just go add another one because the 2 we got is really old and we can't rely on them, which is absolutely the truth. I mean, Kenneth Walker could be starting by the first quarter of the first game.
Yeah.
Chris Carson's probably going to get injured probably in preseason, and Rashad Penny's going to get hurt first play of the game. Boom. Kenny Walker's RB1 for the year, off and running, right?
What about DJ Dallas?
Well, he had his opportunity to run and be that running back. He didn't take advantage of it. That's why they brought in Kenny Walker. But I like Kenny Walker. Yeah. Well, that might have been my pick before Treylon Burks. Now that I think about it, I didn't even think about Kenny Walker. So yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. I mean, running backs are valuable in fantasy. Get all of them that you can.
If Breece Hall wasn't such a stud, I almost like, I don't know, something about Walker that feels more for sure to me than Breece Hall. It could be just the New York Jet blah, but
I think the Jets are onto something. I mean, I kind of
I've heard that before.
All right, yeah. I mean, I've heard about everybody.
Lions are onto something too. That's why none of us have taken Jamison Williams yet.
I mean, the Bengals have. Well, I'm not taking Jamison Williams. I'm not really sure what his status is, but anyway, the Bengals. We said the Bengals were never ever going to be on to anything, and they eventually get there. I mean, eventually the team's got to be good. Eventually,
is that what that's like the Lions since 1960?
The Lions were good. I'm talking like, I'm not saying win the Super Bowl, but I mean, they've had their moments. Like, yeah, they're picking number 2 now. But I mean, I'm not, when I say
They're pretty
when the
good.
line when I say good, I'm not saying winning the Super Bowl. They just competing, trying to get into the playoffs. You know, in the playoffs. That's all I'm looking for. But so you had Kenny Walker. I'll go ahead and continue with the Jets. I'll take Garrett Wilson. I mean,
Mm.
Zach Wilson likes to sling it. Garrett Wilson likes to go deep. So I mean, it works for me. So I'll take Garrett Wilson.
Can you imagine 2 Jets in the top 6? I mean, in some mocks, I'm even seeing 2 Jets in like the top 3 or 4 of their rankings and things. It's like, oh my goodness,
I was gonna
that
say, I mean, I think the
the
Jets
problem.
are going to be different. I'm not a huge fan of Zach. I don't know if Zach Wilson's going to be the guy to take them there.
That's my problem right there.
I think Zach Wilson is the guy before the guy.
I don't think they think that. I think they think Zach Wilson's the guy.
Well, they gotta think that. I mean, I'm sure they do think that, but like that's just what I think. I mean, I watch all from my watching TV every Sunday.
Yeah.
This is just but I also hold a grudge because I don't think Zach Wilson should have been the number 2 pick
Oh, nobody does except
draft.
for the Jets.
But I mean, but I think Zach Wilson is the guy before the guy.
I can't argue with that. That is not.
But he still likes to sling it, and Garrett Wilson likes to catch balls that are slung down the field. So I think it works.
That's true. Now's when we're just sort of tossing and seeing what we like. It comes down to what you prefer, and what I prefer is the Kansas City Chiefs. And this might be a reach, but a lot of people are looking through there like Skye Moore might be the steal of the draft. He could be. I mean, who would Tyreek Hill came in with some struggles because he was a dirtbag when he came into the league and then lit the world on fire. Skye Moore's coming into a team that receivers are blah. Juju's young, so maybe Juju steps up. Travis Kelce's old, so he's got what, 1 or 2 more years. I hope 3 based upon my one team. But Skye Moore could be stepping into the perfect storm of a great dynasty pick, and especially if you're picking at 7, your team's pretty decent anyways. You can maybe invest a little bit here too for somebody who could be Patrick Mahomes' boy for the long run.
I mean, maybe. So that's who you're going with, Skye Moore, right?
Oh yeah, I'm stretching.
So where did he go at in Jeff?
Skye Moore. Oh golly,
I know he dropped a little bit,
he did.
but that's not. But yeah, I mean, coming into the draft, Skye Moore was, talked about. I feel pretty highly. I mean, he was just out of those top guys. Once you got out of those top guys, he was
54.
Yeah, so he was like the next one. But yeah, being thrust into that offense is fine. But the only problem is with him compared to the other receivers is just where he is at on the depth chart at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, because it's gonna take a while, and like just some of these other guys, they were just put into the opportunity. They just got more opportunity. So yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Skye Moore, so I really can't. I mean, the only reason I would have Skye Moore is because he got picked by Patrick Mahomes, because he got picked by the Chiefs.
Well, he's getting drafted for the same reason that CEH got drafted the other year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. I'm not arguing that at all. 100%.
I mean, plus he's an amazing receiver out of Shady Side Academy in Pennsylvania, just a stellar football school. So it's just good to see him pulling that out. Thank you,
Hey, man, like I said, with some of these receivers that we didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about, are going to be the ones that are going to hit. I mean, not all of these top 6 are going to be high-end wide receivers. I mean, it's going to be some that are in the lower tiers that are picked in the second round, that are picked in the third round. So,
I mean, we won't even draft him, but like Michi's interested to me in Houston.
I'm so on the Houston bandwagon this year.
But I mean, he's got. We're not gonna pick him because we're only gonna get to like 12 because we're running out of time. But he's gonna be someone late that you might be able to sneak up on. I mean, shocker, Dallas drafted a receiver. Not interested in that, but
Yeah, so I'm gonna try. I want to try to get through 2 more guys. Hope you don't take the one that I want. I'm gonna take. So I'll stick with wide receiver here. And this one surprised me a lot, and that's Chris Olave.
I already wrote it down before you picked it.
The Saints jumped up, they grabbed him, so they really gotta like him. So that's who I'm picking. I mean, he's going to get speaking about opportunity. I mean, the wide receiver room is completely wide open. He could be like the number one guy. We don't know if Michael Thomas is coming back.
Playing, yeah.
And if Michael Thomas does come back, how good is Michael Thomas going to be after missing 2 years of football? I mean, there's got to be a something there. So if he does come back, but that still puts Olave as the number two. I mean, or the 1B at So and we all know Jameis likes to throw the ball. So I mean,
To his team, to the
Olave's
other
a good
team, to his
he's a
team, to the
good
other team.
he's a good route runner. So I mean, I don't think he's great as far as like deep down the field, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, I
I
could
remember
be.
that pass remember that pass against Alabama, that bomb.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, he can catch it deep, but like I said, I think he's a great route runner. I think he's pretty crisp. I'm not gonna say I said here, and I've watched a little clip here and there, and I'll watch him, and then I'll watch another guy, and I'm like, man, his footwork is just a little better than that guy, just from like what I've honestly. So I, I think the opportunity's there for him to have a lot of catches.
So I got number 9, and I'm looking at being. I'm looking at, hey, my team at number 9 is a playoff team, meaning I am pretty decent now, and quarterback is king in Dynasty. So I'm gonna take my favorite player who slipped way, way down and decided to go bowling versus paying attention to the draft. I'm gonna take Malik Willis at number 9. It is Dynasty. It is super flex. Ryan Tannehill is not long for this world. Malik Willis isn't going to start this year, so I know I'm going to draft him to stash him. Tannehill maybe gets hurt. Maybe they put Malik Willis in on give him a couple run plays or something just to get the feel for the game. It's a learning year for Willis, but it is Dynasty. We're not playing redraft, and he's a quarterback. Why would you not take a quarterback in a team that's going to probably do some RPOs next year? They have they got Derrick Henry. They drafted a running back that could be next up. Who knows? And dude's got a cannon of an arm, and I'm in love with him. So at 9, why not?
Yeah, you guys saw me. I mean, I like Malik Willis. So that
He's not number 2 overall in the draft, but
no,
9
I mean,
on.
that's, well, maybe I was wrong. That doesn't. But
I was confused.
But what I was right about, I did have Tennessee taking a quarterback. I had them taking it early,
Yeah.
but I did have them taking a replacement for Ryan Tannehill. I'd much rather have Malik Willis as my replacement. But yeah, I can't argue that upside. Pick number 9 in the draft. Yeah, like you said, you're probably a playoff team already.
Yeah.
So go get the quarterback, because if it hits, I mean, you just turned the number 9 pick into 2 first rounders or 2 first rounders plus, depending on how he hits.
Okay,
so Mag, I'm gonna take. So I don't think I've taken a running back. I'm gonna take a running back here, right?
I was thinking of him for 11.
So I'll take him here because I don't know how much time we have, so I gotta get to him, and that's the only running back that I was kind of like, I'm gonna say excited for. I'm like, okay, that's cool, and that's I don't know, Cook. He's going to what's his first name?
James.
Yeah, James Cook.
We'll just call him Dalvin's brother all year.
Yeah, I wanted to say that, but I wanted to show him a little bit more respect, and I ended up forgetting his first name. I don't want to be calling him Dalvin's little brother because I think he'll be better than that. But yeah, I'm kind of excited. I mean, Singletary kind of showed out a little bit last year. I think Dalvin. I won't call him Dalvin Cook already. James Cook. I feel like him and Single, aren't they pretty much like the same player? I guess.
I think he's a little better.
Hopefully, Cook's a little better, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, running running backs out of Georgia tend to be really good. Like of course the other kid, Zamir White. I'm not sure exactly where he went. I like him as well. But that's going to be my guy. Speaking of Georgia, their whole defense got drafted, and I was like, he went to the Raiders.
He didn't get drafted. Undrafted free agent, unsigned draft pick.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he got drafted. Maybe I was wrong.
I knew he was signed somewhere.
They are
15 Bulldogs got drafted.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how anybody scored on these guys in college. I mean, how did anybody? I mean, now granted, they only allowed like 8 points a game, but Alabama dropped 40 on them, and I'm not really sure how that happened.
I mean, how many of these guys? I don't even know. Like, it'd be something to look back as how many of these guys didn't play in the later games.
Oh, I'm not sure. I can't go into that, but I know all these guys were on the same team.
Yeah. Sometimes you have a bad day.
It's insane. I can't believe.
I mean, I'm going to do 11 real quick just because we haven't given him any respect, and that's Jamison Williams, who I've heard a lot of people say could be a amazing pro. He's just one of those. A lot of mocks and a lot of people have him ranked really high, like up in top 4 or 5. We're just scared because we're chickens on the Couriers of him, and he plays for Detroit, and we know the quarterback situation there. But I mean, he could be a guy I think that sneaks up in here for us as we look farther in the process. This is just coming off and knowing where he is, what he's coming from, and who's throwing to him would be the thing with him.
So did you know Jamison Williams had to go to Alabama because he couldn't play in Ohio State, right?
Really?
I'm pretty hopefully that I'm right on that. I'm not confusing myself with somebody else. But I'm pretty sure Jamison Williams had to go to Alabama because Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson were in front of him at Ohio State. So that just goes to show you how deep Ohio State is at wide receiver. But yeah, I like Jamison Williams. I mean, he's just not my favorite guy. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say he's bad, and I'm not, because he's really good. But there's just other guys I would personally rather have. Will I have shares of him at some point? Oh wow, absolutely, I'm sure. But I'd just rather have other guys, and that's nothing against him. It's just I like other guys better. I could be wrong. I mean, usually.
I think we're wrong on him, but I had to throw him in there. Give us number 12, and then we got to get out of here because everybody's been listening to
number 12. I don't even know who. Oh man,
I got number 12. If you don't want to throw one, it's one that we got to put our money where our mouth is, I think.
Oh yeah, well go ahead.
I would think we said that anybody drafted by the Packers had to be our 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, this is a good pick.
Christian Watson would be right there.
That would have probably been my pick. You're right. I would forgot all about that.
I mean, him and Skye Moore, everybody's going to be worried because they had the inferior competition, but so did Jerry Rice, and he's GOAT number 2, right? And
but I did hear that Christian Watson had a high drop rate. Take that as you will. Take that for what you will. I mean,
that's what MVS dropped a lot of balls too, and he got.
That's why MVS isn't there anymore, right?
He was there for a while.
You're just going from one MVS to the other MVS. But yeah, I like Christian Watson. Big dude, fast dude. Kind of my kind of receivers. And it's not like Aaron Rodgers is going to make these catches hard for you to make. You literally just hold your hands out, and he'll put it right there. I mean, so all you got to do is just squeeze when the ball's in your hands. It's not like you got to reach behind your head or one-handed. Just hold it out, and Aaron Rodgers will put it there. So I'm thinking.
I could almost Sammy Watkins, who'll be hurt.
But maybe Alan Lazard will take that step to be Aaron Rodgers' next guy. Because, I mean, sometimes it takes a couple of years. Like Devontae Adams wasn't Devontae Adams the first couple of years. And then Jordy Nelson wasn't Jordy Nelson like the first couple of years. I mean, eventually turned into him. Mm-hmm. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is just like pulling these guys along slowly. He didn't need Alan Lazard because he had Devontae Adams. So maybe Lazard slides right into that Lazard role or Adams role and takes over.
You'd really win our trade if that happened. You'd crush.
Yeah, I got big, lofty goals, man. I need these dreams to come true.
Okay, JJ. We had our top 12 picks here. I'll run through them really quickly. It was Hall, Pickett, London, Burks, Walker, Wilson, Moore, Olave, Willis, Cook, Williams, and Watson. We could go on for a while longer, but you need to get on with your day. JJ Wang, give us some words of wisdom and get us out of here.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. Spent a lot of time watching. Like I said, it's most time I've ever spent probably watching the draft. So, that was fun. But yeah, I'll just continue with fantasy. Just making sure now you just need to learn about these guys, so you know you're not making these big draft mistakes, or you can just trade them, trade the draft picks away. But as always, trust yourself and trust the process.